Welcome back to the Bead Flora Studio. Fen here. I'll be showing you how to make this beaded rose here today. I will be revealing the full pattern here today, but if you'd also like to download a PDF version for your records so that you don't have to keep referring back to the video, I will put a link in the description below. I will be charging a small fee for the PDF version. That definitely just helps me keep the video tutorials free, and I do appreciate your support. I will also be linking prerequisite videos in the description below if you do need any refreshers on any of the techniques. Now let's get started. I already have some beads strung on wire. I'm using 22 gauge copper core red for the petals today. You can also use 24 gauge. I just like the 22 gauge a lot more. So let's get started. We'll count 6 beads to do a 6 bead basic. 6 bead right over here. And now we're going to make the basic frame. To do rounded top and rounded bottoms. And for this pattern we will need, well, for this petal that we're making, you'll need 13 rows. I'm just going to keep going until I have 13. Now we have all the rows that we need. I'm going to, and I just had the wire wrapped down just a little bit down the stem. I'm just going to cut that there, cut the top, cut the bottom here so that the wires are flush, bend the top here just a little bit down into like a little loop, and then bend it down towards the back, and then twist this over here so you're not poking yourself. Now we have one petal. Now let's work on the leaves. I already have a leaf started. We will be doing a scalloped leaf today. And I started with a 6 bead basic with 15 rows, pointed top, rounded bottom, and then I cut out 18 inches of wire after I made the leaf here. So we have all this wire over here, and now we're ready to do the scallop. So I'm going to have my handy dandy bead spinner with all the beads in here. First, we're going to string on 35 beads. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Perfect. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so what we do is we take your working wire and put it behind this row here, the first row, to your left. And then take your working wire and stick it up behind the first row to bring it to the front. And then take the working wire and bend it towards the left here so that it is secure. Now I'm going to string more beads on and do a rounded bottom over here. So remove the excess beads. Just go behind the stem wire and back to the front. Now we're ready to do the scallop. Now for the side here, the right hand side, we're just going to string enough beads so that it mirrors the scallop on the left hand side here. It could be a little bit more or a little bit less beads, or it could be about exactly the same. So, and it's just approximate, just eyeball it. Right, and then we're going to do the same thing over here. Stick your wire underneath the most right hand row. And then just bring it to the right so that it is secure. And then we're going to string more beads on over here. And then we're going to do a rounded bottom. For the next scallop, I have 30 beads strung. So I'm going to take the working wire and again put it behind the most left row and then to the left. I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping both the scallops. Alright, now this scallop leaf is done. It is a 6 bead basic, pointed top, rounded bottom. The first set of scallops is with 35 beads, and then the second set of scallops is with 30 beads, and of course this side is just the mirror image of this other side. Could be a little bit more or less beads depending on your leaf. Now let's work on the sepals here. I have a 15 bead basic started. So it's a 15 bead basic, pointed top, rounded bottom. Right now I have 3 rows started. So after that, what we're going to do is undo the top and string on 17 beads. So we have the 17 beads on the top of the basic wire. We do the knot over here. Now we have the beads on the working wire. So what we're going to do is take the working wire with the beads on here, go behind, or just wrap it around the basic wire, up the basic wire, and then I'm going to make a pointed top over here. Now string some, feed some more beads onto the wire, and then go behind right here, the basic, wrap it around and down. then a rounded bottom. Now let's talk lacing. Lacing is basically sewing the rows together for a neater look. And I'm using 32 gauge wire here. So what I like to do is measure about 2 lengths of the petal or leaf that I'm looking to lace. Cut that. Place the wire right towards the middle here. I'm just lacing the middle. So take your really thin wire, go underneath the first row, and then bring it back up to the front. Now take your wire, stick it underneath the second row, what I like to do is just turn it so I can see where it's going. The front should look invisible. You shouldn't be able to see the wire towards the front. But when you turn it towards the back, you'll see like a little stitch right there. And we're just going to keep going until all of the rows are laced or sewn together. So this is all laced together, and just take your wire cutter, just cut off the ends and just tuck it in. Now it's not completely straight, but that's okay. For this pattern, make 4 petals with the 6 bead basic, rounded top, rounded bottom, 13 rows. Next, make 5 of these petals with a 6 bead basic, rounded top, rounded bottom, 15 rows, and lace all the petals. Next, make 6 of these petals with a 6 bead basic, rounded top, rounded bottom, 17 rows, and again lace all of these petals. For the leaves, I have 1 smaller one and 2 larger ones. I showed you the pattern for the first one already. The second one, it's basically you do 17 rows, pointed top, rounded bottom, and the same thing, 35 beads for the first set of scallops, and 30 beads for the second set of scallops. So it's just slightly larger. And we'll be making 2 sets of these, so you will need to make 2 of the smaller leaves and then 4 of the bigger leaves then. For this pattern, make 6 of the sepals. Next, we're going to assemble the leaves. I have a piece of 6-inch or 15 centimeter stem wire. 18 gauge is good. I don't have 18 gauge handy right now, so I taped 2 pieces of smaller stems together, and I think it's about 20 gauge or something like that. So I'm going to take the smaller leaf, place it next to the stem, take more floral tape, and just wrap it around the stems. Now go down about 2 inches or so, or just, eyeball, wherever you want it, and then place the second leaf onto here. around. Then eyeball again, about an inch or so. Place the last leaf on here. Alright, continue wrapping until you get to the bottom. Rip off the tape. Next, we'll be flossing the stems for the leaves. So what I like to do is just to take it, tie the floss around the top of the stem, just like this. You can snip this off here or just bring it down. Hold on to it and then just wrap around it. And I'm using DMC metallic floss, and it's got many strands on here. You don't have to use the metallic floss. You can use you know, just regular embroidery floss. I just like the look of the metallic. The satin finish is nice too. It's a little bit cheaper, but still has a nice finish. Just wrap around. Alright, now I'm done flossing the stem over here. I went down about half an inch below the last leaf. I'm just going to leave this still here with floral tape. Make a knot. With the floss. And then take your floral tape. Just wrap it around to secure the floss. Make 2 sets of these leaves. Now we're ready to assemble. Let's start with 2 of the 13 row petals. Take the first one, have the wrong side facing you. Just kind of bend it down or bend it in a little like this. We're just going to shape it and then shape the bottom in. Like this. Now I already have another one done. So what I'm going to do is just place them next to each other like this. Take my tool and twist it together. What is this tool? Chain-nose pliers. Oh guys, a pregnancy braid over here. Alright, don't do it too hard because we don't want the wires to be breaking. Just a little bit, not too much. Right. And next we're going to take this and place it next to 12 gauge stemmer wire here. And I'm going to assemble this with thread, and you can use any type of thread. I'm using nylon beading thread because that's what I have, but you can use just regular thread. Alright, so just wrap it around. Go down until you have all of the wires wrapped, and then go up. Now you're ready to attach the other petals. So take another petal. I'm going to have the right side facing in. Bend it just like this. Place it next to the stem and wrap. Just going to keep going down until the wires are wrapped, and then go back up again. And next, I'm ready to add another petal. So just keep going like this with the next size, the petals with the 15 rows, and then do it all for the petals with the 17 rows. Alright, I'm just going to keep going, guys. Bring your back when I have all of these attached. I have all of the petals attached. So I'm just going to pull out the thread here. Make a knot. And just kind of hold it with your fingers, because it's not going to be a tight knot. What we're going to do is take floral tape and wrap it all around the stem, and that will secure it. Keep twisting. Until you go down to the very bottom of the stem. We're almost there. Holy cow. And we're there. Alright. Next, we're going to attach the sepals. Same method. Just bend it down a little bit. And what I like to do is to cover the wire from the petals, just like this. We have 6 petals there, and we have 6 sepals, so one for each one. So you won't see the wiring. I'm going to keep going until I have all 6 on. And I have all these sepals attached, and I wrapped it with floral tape to secure the thread. I'm not going to go all the way down, just until I covered all of the wire and thread. So take your embroidery floss, and what I like to do is just take this and go behind the sepals, one of them. Or 2, depends on how you have it, and just wrap it around the stem. Sometimes you can go behind another one if you want. You don't have to. This just depends on the placement. Just wrap the floss around the stem. keep going until I'm ready to add the first set of leaves. Alright, I went down about 3 inches or so. Now I'm ready to add the first set of leaves. So all I'm going to do is just place it next to the stem and wrap both of these together. Now I'm going to keep going down until I'm ready to add the second set of leaves. Alright. Now I went down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches or so. Now I'm ready to add the second set. Place it next to the stem and wrap everything together. And then just keep going down until we reach the end of the stem. Alright, now we are at the very end over here, so I'm just going to keep wrapping just like this to the very end. Get to the bottom as much as you can, and then go back up the stem. And then make a knot. And then for my scissors, I don't have any, so I'll use my wire cutters over here. Just cut it. Okay, next what we're going to do is secure it with some clear nail polish. You can also use tacky glue. What I found is the tacky glue takes a little bit to dry. It takes about 24 hours to dry. But the nail polish doesn't take long at all, you know. Okay. Put clear coat on. Turn it a bit. Okay, that should do it. For extra measure. Alright, so when it clears, then you can cut off this little bit here too. Now our flower is done, and I'm just holding this a little bit awkwardly because I'm waiting for the nail polish to dry. The final part is just to shape your petals however you like. Shape the leaves, shape the sepals. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!